Okay guys, so I'm Mr. Coder. Welcome to Science 10. We'll be going over today to start with just how everything is going to work in the classroom, okay, so you kind of know what the procedures are going to be, and then we'll get right into the course material after that. Okay, so you have in front of you the course outline, classroom policy sheet, okay, and up here on the board, okay, is the join code for Google Classroom. Okay, today, because you actually probably still have your cell phones in your pockets, and this is an educational purpose, you may bring them out at this time, okay, and join the Google Classroom. If you don't already have a Redeemer address, so you're new to Christ the Redeemer, okay, then you'll have to come and see me after class, and I can look up your email, username, and password for you and give it to you, and at that time you can log in. You can't join the Google Classroom unless you have your school email. You can't join it with your Gmail account. Okay, so if that's you, just wait till after class, no problem, we'll get you set up then. If you have it, or you went to JP2 or St. Francis, you probably got an email from me last night with an invitation to join the classroom. If you've already done that, you're already set. Okay, if you don't have your phone with you right now because you heard you weren't allowed to have it and you put it in your locker, good for you. Please write down the join code so that you can use it when you get back to your phone later. Okay? So while we're on the topic of phones, obviously big changes this year in terms of the use of your personal electronic devices during class. Okay, so as I was telling you before, starting tomorrow, hopefully the thing gets delivered today, okay, each desk will have a number written on it. Each pouch in the phone thing will have the same numbers. Just if you're in desk 1, put your phone in pouch 1, okay, and it will stay there, powered off. Okay, it can't be on silent because they still buzz, okay, and they can still communicate with your smartwatch and all of that kind of stuff and your earbuds and all of those things. Okay, we're trying to eliminate all of those distractions with this. We're going to see how it goes. Maybe it'll be good. Okay, I'm old enough to have taught when people didn't have cell phones. Okay, you can probably tell from all the gray. Okay, the only people who had cell phones were doctors and drug dealers. So, okay, and we all learned just fine back then. So I'm sure it'll be fine for you. Change is hard. I get it. You know, it's probably a little anxiety provoking for you to know that you're going to be separated from that thing for a while, and that's okay. I got the same thing. I put my phone away today and went, geez, that's weird. I don't have it in my pocket. Okay, yeah, we'll get used to it. We'll be fine. Okay, but that'll be the system going forward, except for occasional times when we actually need them for an educational purpose. In physics, we actually use them to collect data a little bit. So there'll be some times where you will have it, okay, but most of the time it will be over there, powered off. Okay, so classroom policies here, guys. The biggest, most important thing in Science 10 is to be here. Okay, attendance directly correlates to marks. All right. Now, you've probably all used Google Classroom before. Okay, I use it very heavily. Each and every day, what we do will be posted on Google Classroom. Okay, even if that's what we're doing right now. Okay, as you can see, I'm recording everything that's going on. So my voice and what's on the smart board, there's no other video, okay, so you're not going to be on video. It's just my voice and what's on the board. Okay, it's being recorded, and every day I post that to my YouTube channel, and then I link it back to Google Classroom. Okay, so if you're away, you're responsible for what you missed. Okay, so if you know, tomorrow you're homesick, okay, you're not feeling good, okay, the expectation is that if you can, before you get back, watch what we did that day. If it's the next day before you get to it, that's fine, okay, but the expectation is that you get caught up, okay. Now, if you're in the hospital and you're heavily medicated for like 2 weeks, exceptions are obviously going to be made. I don't want you, trying to watch YouTube videos and figure out how to balance chemical reactions when you're on, Percocet because you broke your femur or something. Like that's obviously not, a good situation. So exceptions can be made in a situation like that.
When does it get posted after class?
I will usually try to have it posted by lunch for my morning classes. I have 2 Science 10s, so I'll probably record period 1. And then if I mess up in period 1, I can record you guys as a backup. Okay, but I teach the same thing. So by lunch, it should be posted. Okay, for sure by the end of the day, worst case scenario. All right, so all you do is just click on that and watch it and do whatever we did. Okay, there'll be times where you'll need to pause the recording because we worked on some worksheets or something like that. Okay, you work on those same worksheets and get caught up. Okay, is that making sense? All right, so if you are absent, okay, you are responsible for any material you missed, including if we did a lab. Okay, if we do a lab the day you're absent, you can still do it. Okay, because during COVID, we recorded all of our labs. We did videos of all the labs we do, okay, observations, all of it. Okay, so if you're not here, or maybe you did the lab and you're like, I don't think my data is right, I'm gonna double check with Coderre's data, good idea. Okay, you can do that. Okay, it'll all be posted in Google Classroom the day we do that. The expectation is you get caught up, especially in this situation. Mr. Coderre, my family and I are going on vacation for 3 weeks in October. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a terrible idea. This class moves really fast, okay? I've taught Science 9 in the past. If I taught Science 9 at the pace I teach Science 10, I'd be done teaching you Science 9 by shortly after Halloween. Okay, and this class runs till mid-January. All right, it goes really fast. There's a lot of material. So, I'm gonna ruin your holiday if you're going on holiday. Because I'm gonna expect that every day you go to Google Classroom and do what we did. Because otherwise, you're gonna come back and you're gonna go, hey, Mr. Coderre, I just got back from my holiday where I did nothing. What did I miss? And you'll see this face. That's my unimpressed face. And you will get this answer. A lot. Okay? What am I supposed to do? You missed 3 weeks? Didn't do anything in 3 weeks? Okay? That's a you problem. Okay? Now, if you were in the hospital and you come back and you say, Coderre, I'm back and I'm in this like giant leg thing that keeps my femur all in place, that's different. Okay? We can do things for that. Okay? But you don't want to get behind. It's really hard to get caught back up. Okay? So stay caught up. All the resources will be on Google Classroom for you to stay caught up. Okay? And I would expect that if a lab is due while you're on vacation, I get the lab. I get the lab report from you. Not when you come back, when it's due. Okay? If you choose to go on holiday, your family chooses to go on holiday while the rest of us are here, that's a you problem. Okay? That's not a me problem. Okay? The resources are there, I do my part. Okay? Now, if you're gone for 3 weeks and you come back and you're like, Mr. Coderre, I watched everything, I did all the stuff, I was working on a worksheet on how to predict the double replacement reaction, and I don't get it, I can't get them right. Can you help me? Absolutely. Okay? You did what you were supposed to do. You stayed caught up and you came back and you had questions. Totally different situation. Okay? You've done your part, I'll do my part. Okay? And that situation, no problem. I will help you with that stuff because you were working on it, because you were engaging in your student responsibility. Okay? Making sense? Attendance is super important. I can't stress that enough. Okay? It's not a virtual class. It's not a hybrid class. Okay? You need to be here. And if you're not here, you need to do what is necessary to stay caught up. Okay, punctuality. Okay, this class starts at 10:05. At 10:05, that door will be in that position, the closed position. You're on the other side of that door, stay on the other side of that door. Don't knock, okay? Don't make faces at your friends through the window. You're late, okay? And you will stay out there until I bring you in. Okay? And that's not a punishment thing. That's it. Everybody else deserves to not have their education interrupted thing. Okay? So you'll be out there. You can look through the window. Okay? I'll see you. Okay? You can see what we're doing. It won't be long. Don't think you're going to be out there for like 30 minutes unless you're late every day. Okay? But if it's your first time late, I'll let you in when it's like, okay, I'm not teaching. You're not going to be a distraction when you come in. I'll let you in. Okay? But don't just walk in like you own the place. Don't knock on the door. Okay? That's a distraction to everybody. Is that clear? Okay, now, you'll see me, I'll see you, okay? If you're not late often, I'll give you one of those, okay? I know you're there. When I give you one of these, you can come in. If you're late all the time, you probably get this look. You're gonna be out there for a while, okay? Be on time, please. Okay, resources that are available to you. Okay. So obviously Google Classroom is used very heavily. So for you guys, that's Science 10, period 2, okay, it looks like this. Every day in the stream, I will post what we did. You can see that a few of the notes packages and things like that are already posted, okay? They are in the classwork tab. Okay? You won't be able to see labs and projects yet because this hasn't been assigned. That's my account, so I can see them there. Okay? What you can see is under course materials, you'll see a lab report example, you'll see worksheet packages and other materials, you'll see notes packages, Okay, organized by unit. If it'll open. Oh, that's great. And so in there will be your notes packages. There's one for each unit. Here's what you need to do tonight. Okay, tonight you need to, oh, come on. All right, be that way. So in those two things, you will find some Google Docs. Okay, they'll have your name on it. It'll say like Science 10, Chemistry, Unit 1, Notes Package. Print that. Chemistry is our first unit. Okay, don't print it in color. The file is in color, but don't print in color. Okay, or you're going to be like Shaquille O'Neal and have one of those like cartridge conniption fits. Okay, and I don't want that for you. Just print in black and white. You can always look at the color version on your computer at home. So print that out, okay, and print out the chemistry worksheet package. You might want to write that down. Those are the two things you need to print out for tomorrow. Okay, unless you're going to bring a laptop, Chromebook, okay, something like that. Those are allowed electronics. Okay, it's just the mobile devices that are not. Okay, so if you're thinking of doing that, that is okay. Don't go home and tell mom and dad Coderre said you need a laptop, because I did not say that. Okay, if you have one that you don't mind bringing, that is okay. Okay, that Google Doc is yours. You can edit it. Okay, it is a file I built and gave to you. So if you're at home and you're on your computer, you can add stuff to it. You can type stuff in. Okay, back when we were allowed phones, people just had the notes on the phone and they just went to town while we were going in class, and that was fine, but now it's not. So, okay, but the file is yours. Okay, you can edit it as you want, but for tomorrow, have the chemistry notes package and chemistry worksheet package ready to go. In black and white. Don't print them in color. Okay, so when you open that up, I had to go through the back door here. Okay, you'll see in there, okay, Google Docs files, one for the chemistry notes package. That's what you're going to print tonight. Okay, and in there also, okay, if you go into the other assignment here, that would be the worksheet packages and other materials. Okay, in there you will see, you don't need the periodic table. I'm going to give you a color 11 by 17 version of that tomorrow. Okay, you don't need to print the lab report expectations. Okay, it's just there for you to look at. You don't need to print the metric system. Print the chemistry worksheet package. Okay, notes package and worksheet package for chemistry for tomorrow. Okay, and when you see those, it'll say, I think your name comes first, so it'll say your name, Unit 1 package. Okay. Okay, so those are the resources that are available. The YouTube channel you're not going to have to go to, because I'm going to link everything back into Google Classroom, so you won't ever have to go to that, but it's there. Okay, so everything will be posted in there each day. Okay, and there'll also be some quizzes are also posted in there, practice quizzes that you can use, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, and then obviously I never want to be asked, Mr. Coderre, what did I miss? Because the answer will be a lot. Okay, make sure that you get caught up. But if you come back and you're like, Mr. Coderre, I did this and I don't get this part, that's fine. Okay, that's what I want you to do. Okay, that's you doing your job and me doing mine. All right, any questions on the resources? Okay, so basically everything's in Google Classroom. That's your home base. Make sure you go there, okay, whenever possible. Okay, and there will be the odd time where I'll say, go get your phones. Okay, bring them on, open up Google Classroom. We need to do this in Google Classroom. That will happen on occasion. Okay, so for my class, you don't need to have your phone in your locker. You can put it in the pouches on the wall, because there will be the odd time where I'll say, we need our phones right now. Okay, and I'm allowed to do that. I read the wording of it, and it specifically says we're allowed to do that on occasion. Okay? Okay, classroom behavioral stuff. Okay, so the biggest thing, guys, is respect. Okay, everyone deserves to feel safe, welcome, and included when they're in the classroom. Okay, I get it. We can get anxious. Things can provoke our anxiety. Believe me, I understand that. I suffer from it myself. Okay? There will be days where you'll probably look up at me and think there's something really wrong because I'm trying to write on the board and my hands are shaking. It happens. It happens to all of us, and it's okay. Okay? It's not something that we can always control. Okay? But it shouldn't be as a result of being afraid of someone else in the room. Okay? That's a lack of respect between classmates. Okay? And you should never feel that from me. Okay? I'm always going to treat you with respect. I'm never going to embarrass you in front of the rest of the class or do anything like that. And if I do, I will own it. But I can't think of a time when I've done that. Okay? Because I'm pretty careful about that stuff. Okay? So everyone should feel safe, included, and welcome. That's another reason that we've done this, or the province has done this phone thing. Okay? The amount of distractions for students related to cyberbullying and things like that was quite great, actually. And so by removing the phones, we remove the distraction at least as best we can during class. Okay? And everyone should feel safe, included, and welcome. If you don't, please bring it to my attention. Okay? Because you should. Okay. All right, listen up. That is my cue that I need your full and undivided attention. So when I say listen up, eyes are forward, you're looking at me. Okay? It's either listen up, today we're going over alchemy and the models of the atom. Or listen up guys, we gotta make our way to the lab right now, grab your phones because you're gonna record your data, let's go. Okay? Or it could be, listen up, the room is on fire and we have to get out right now. Okay? I need your full and undivided attention when I say listen up. Okay. Coursework, classwork, things like that. I do not assign homework for the sake of having you do homework. I don't assign it for marks. Will you have to do some? Yes, but I don't do homework checks. Okay, so let's say like tomorrow we start going over naming chemical compounds. All right, and we do questions 1 to 25. You only get questions 1 to 19 done. The expectation is you're going to go home and do 20 through 25 at home. I'm not going to check that. I'm not coming around to see that everybody has all those questions done. But that's what we did in class. You should get it done. Okay? It's a form of practice. It helps you master the material. Okay? That's the expectation. The way I check homework is every week you'll have a quiz on Friday. Not this week because it's a short week. Okay? But every other week you'll have a quiz on Friday. And it'll be on the last week or so of material. Okay? If you haven't been keeping up and doing all the questions we did in class, you might feel anxious about that quiz. Okay? The way to remove that is to prepare. Okay? Do the homework I assign in class. Okay? All right, so I don't have any make work projects. If I say do questions 1 to 20, I need you to do questions 1 to 20. Okay? It doesn't mean I'm just giving you something so I can sit up here and go on Amazon and shop for cool stuff. Okay? I'm not going to do that. Okay? I'll be maybe marking lab reports or walking around and helping you out. If you put your hand up, I'll come and help you. Okay? That's what that time is for. Mastery, practice. All right. If you're doing all that stuff, quizzes and exams, which are worth marks, okay, are not going to be a problem for you. Okay? You'll be well prepared because you'll have done the stuff that you were supposed to do. Okay? All right. Unit exams. Obviously, there's one for each unit, so there's 4. Okay? And they're pretty hefty as well. Okay? Each one of them is worth 10% of your final grade. But if you've been doing all these things, okay, you'll know what to do on the test. The questions I put on the quizzes, very much like the questions you're going to get on the unit exam. Okay? So if you have one quiz and it goes really, really well, you're like, okay, I really know that stuff. When the exam time comes, I only have to go over that a little bit. But if you had another quiz and you didn't do as well on it, that's probably something you should focus a little more on. That's kind of what the quizzes are for. Okay? They assess you, yes, but they're also feedback. Ooh, this is something I need to work on. Oh, this is something I really know really well. Okay? Sort of makes sense? Okay. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Okay, other thing you need to know is that in high school science, there are no rewrites. Okay? You should be well prepared for the exam the first time it is offered. Okay? Guys, I'm available for help pretty much all the time unless I'm on supervision. Okay? My help times are listed here. That is Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday mornings from 8:05 to 8:25. You can come in and ask me for help. Okay? First half of lunch, Monday, Tuesday. Second half of lunch, Wednesday, Thursday. After school, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay? I'm here till like 5 after 4. Okay? You can come and see me then. So it's like I'm practically always here. Okay? You can always come and get help. I'm always here and I'm always willing to give you some help. So if you need it, there's no shame in that. Come get it. Okay? All right. So you're responsible for your own academic success. If you're not completing your work, then usually I have to call home and go, little Johnny's really having trouble getting their work handed into me on time, so I'm going to need to bring them in at lunch and get them caught up. And mom and dad are usually like, really? Oh, that's great. What can we do to help? You probably don't want them to know about that or say that, because then I'll say, well, if you could just monitor them at home and make sure that they're in the, Gray Bar Hotel on bread and water, make sure they get their work done, that'd be great. Okay, so, yeah, that doesn't happen too often, but make sure you're getting your work done. Okay. On an exam, because there are no rewrites, there is still a little safety net. Okay? If you were to, by some act of God, fail an exam, okay, I usually bring you in and have you work on some stuff with me over some lunch hours to make sure that you master the material, and then I'll bump the grade a little bit. Okay? It's not a lot, it's not a rewrite, okay, but it's like a safety net. Okay? All right. Fairness versus equality. So I always try to be fair to everyone, but fair and equal are definitely not the same thing. Okay? You cannot treat two people exactly the same and always have that be fair. Okay? I'll give you an example. About 10 years ago, when we were still handing things in on paper, I had my whole class lined up with their lab reports ready for me, and all but 2 of them handed in their lab reports. Okay? Second to last person in line, Cody would be late for his own funeral. Okay, like he just never, ever was on time for class or had anything done on time either. And of course he comes up and it's like, Cody, again? I gave you a week and a half to do this thing. It'd take you like 40 minutes to do, tops. Yeah, I know. I left it till last night, Mr. Coder. To Cody's credit, he was always brutally honest with me. Didn't matter what it was. I always got the whole truth and nothing but the truth from Cody. He's like, yeah, the season finale of my favorite show was on last night. It was on at like 10. And I was just going to do my report after. I'm like, you'd see the flaw in that planning, right? Yeah. But that's how I roll, Coder. You're rolling backwards, buddy, but whatever. Okay. He's like, yeah, and I fell asleep because it was kind of boring, actually, and I didn't wake up till this morning. I didn't get it done. I'm like, well, same as always, Cody. Like, you're going to take the late penalty. I need that as soon as you can get it in. Okay. Yeah. 5 days later, I finally got it. Okay. And the person behind him, she always had her work done on time. This was a shock. And then I looked at her, and she looked so sick that she would probably have to get better to die. She was like literally green and like barely able to stand. I'm like, what are you doing here? Well, I have to get to school, Mr. Coder. Okay, so what's up? Why isn't your stuff done? Well, I heard what you said to Cody, and it's kind of my fault. I did leave the last bit of my report until last night. I said, well, so what happened? Well, my parents got in this huge fight, and they stormed out of the house, and I had to make dinner for my brothers and sisters, and all we had was frozen chicken. And I took it out and I cooked it, but I didn't cook it enough. And we all got sick, and we all spent the whole night throwing up. I'm like, geez, I'm sorry that happened to you. Like, are you okay? Like, is everything gonna be okay at home? Oh yeah, it's not the first time that's happened. It's just tough when it happens. Like, yeah, okay, I can see how that would be tough. It probably really threw you. Yeah, well, I mean, what happens? I eat frozen chicken and I don't cook it enough. Yeah, stuff happens. Like, okay, well, go home. You need to go home and rest because you can barely stand. And don't drive yourself home. Like, you need to go home and just rest. Okay, well, what do I do about the report? Well, how much do you have left? Just the conclusion. So when you're feeling better, do it and hand it in to me. Like, I'm not going to penalize you late. You've never had a thing late. This is, I mean, a little bit your fault. When you leave something to the last minute, calamity knows that's the time to strike. Okay, that's when the internet goes down. That's when all this stuff happens, right? Like the mayhem guy in the insurance commercials. Okay? But I think I was fair in that situation. I didn't treat them equally. If I treated them equally, they both should have got a late penalty. Okay? But in that case, I didn't think it was deserved. Now, if you ever think I haven't been fair, you can come talk to me about it. I'll own it. If I haven't been, I'll go, gee, I didn't see it from that point of view. You're right. I wasn't fair. And I'm not too proud to own that. Okay? But everyone should get treated fairly, and they should feel as if they've been treated fairly. Okay. All right, accountability. So high school is the start of real life, so due dates and timelines are part of your reality. This means you are expected and required to hand in material on time and be responsible for your actions. I give plenty of time for assignments to be completed, thus there are very few excuses I will accept for not handing in material on time. in real life, you have to be on time to get your work done, okay? So you do here as well, okay? Now, I'm not, an unfeeling person. I get it, stuff happens, okay? If you didn't get something done on time, just come and talk to me about it, okay? Sometimes I'm gonna go, gee, that seems like a ish you and not an ish me, okay? But, other times I'll go, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand, and you can have an extension till tomorrow, okay? I'll do that, right? Not every time. And I do expect that as the respect piece, you're honest with me, okay? I'm sure that in the past I've been duped, okay? That someone has come up and given me an Oscar-worthy acting performance, complete with tears about why their lab report's not done on time, okay? But I would expect that you treat me with a little more respect than that, okay? You're an adult, right? Or close to an adult, All right, questions on that? Okay, now in terms of lots of time to get things done, the shortest turnaround for an assignment you would ever expect to get in this class would be 2 school days. And I don't remember the last time I made one that short. Okay? Most of the time, if we were to do a lab on, let's say, like a Wednesday, it probably, at the earliest, would be due the following Monday. So you'd not only have, school days, not class time, but school days to work on it, you'd also have the weekend. Okay? Here's the reason I do that. I will look over your lab reports if you bring them to me before they're due. Okay? By before they're due, I don't mean 8/29 on the day they're due. Okay? I mean a few days in advance. So if it's due on Monday, and you bring it to me Friday morning before school starts, saying, Mr. Coderre, can you look over my lab? Sure, no problem. Okay? I'll look it over, and sometimes I'm like, perfect, hand it in right now. Okay? And other times I'll be like, I think you missed the point of what analysis question number 2 was asking, so let me explain it a little bit better and maybe talk about, this thing or that thing in your answer, and that'll make it a little better. Or you forgot this part of your hypothesis, maybe put that in and it'll make it a little better. I'll do that. Okay? I'm not going to give you the answers, okay? But I'll go over it, and if it needs a little tweaking, I'll tell you what to tweak. Okay? It's a good way to improve your mark, and you learn more that way. So you're totally welcome to do that as long as you have it done ahead of time. Okay, you will always get what you hand in to me back the next day. Sometimes you get it back the same day if I'm super organized. Okay, but you will always get it back the next class. We will go through it as a class the next class. Okay, in 25 years of teaching, I have failed to get an assignment back the next day once. It was the day my second son was born. Okay? I completely stand by my decision to hold my wife's hand while she gave birth to our son. That was the right decision. Sitting there marking lab reports would have been the wrong decision. Okay, so I stand by the fact that I did not get those ones back the following day. I got them back the day after that. Okay, but you can expect that you will get them back very quickly, and that we will go over them as a class the next day, because that's how learning occurs. If you get something back 3 weeks after you handed it in, you don't remember a thing about it by then. Okay, so it'll come back right away, and we'll review it. Okay, for that reason, the late penalty is stiff. It's 30%, and it's immediate. Okay, I don't count how many days late it is. Okay? In my mind, there's 2 grades of assignments: on time and late. You're one or the other. Okay, so make sure that yours is the former, on time, and not the latter, late. Okay, everybody with me there? Okay. Well, let's talk about assignments and assessment then. That's the next thing here. Okay, so it's on the flip side. Just flip the sheet over there. Okay, the first thing is that I cannot discuss your mark with you in class. Okay, that's a FOIP thing. I'm not allowed to go over your mark and talk about your mark while there's 30 other sets of eyes watching and 30 other sets of ears listening. I can't do that. Okay, but if you want to talk to me about your mark after class or during scheduled help or any of those other appropriate times, that would be fine. Okay, I'm more than willing to do that. You come over and say, hey, Mr. Coderre, I don't know, like, you went over this in class and it seems like my answer is a lot like what you said. Can you explain to me why I didn't get full marks for it? Absolutely. Maybe I made a mistake. Wouldn't be the first time. Sure won't be the last time. Okay, I can own that. I'm not too proud. Okay, and other times I'll say, no, if you recall, I said this in class, that this had to be included, and that's missing from yours. Oh, okay. That's totally fine. That's how learning occurs. Okay, and if you come to me like that, That's fine, okay? As long as you don't come up confrontational, right? I once had a kid, he brought his lab report up and he went like this. Coder, that mark sucks. And with 30 other sets of eyes looking on him like, yeah, you're absolutely right, it does. And it's all yours, sit down. Like, you can't come up and confront me like that and expect that I'm gonna go, oh really, let's go over it together right now. No, I'm not gonna be very receptive to a confrontation like that. Okay, but if you come up to me after and you're like, Mr. Coder, can you please explain this to me? Sure. That's how life works, that's how things work. Okay, everybody all right with that? Okay. All right, marks will be distributed according to the syllabus. We'll talk about what percentage everything is worth here in a few minutes. Okay, all work must be your work. Okay, so when you turn in on Google Classroom a Google Doc for the Properties of Compounds lab report, I expect that I am not going to read another identical lab report 5 reports down the line. Okay, these are independently created things. Okay, are you going to have some similarities with maybe somebody that you worked with? That's fine. Okay, especially if you're in a group and you have a set of data. Your data better be identical if you're in the same group. That's okay. Okay? But what I don't want to read is 2 hypotheses that are word for word exactly the same. Then I don't know which one of you did it. Okay? And one of you learned something and the other didn't. Okay? They are to be independently done. Can you talk about what you want to put in there? Absolutely. That's okay. But yours has to be written by you, theirs has to be written by them, okay? And not by ChatGPT. Okay? Everybody with me there? Okay, the reason for that, guys, is I've had people do that, and they keep doing it. I keep bringing them in and talking to them about it, and then they haven't learned anything. Quizzes and tests come along, and they bomb. And they're going, Mr. Coder, doing so good on the labs. Well, no, you're not doing so good. Your buddy's doing so good. You're copying them, and you don't know the stuff. It's a natural consequence. I don't want that for you. I want you to learn it yourself, and then do well for yourself. Okay, assignments and labs are all, because they're all handed in through Google Classroom, are all due at 8:30 a.m. on the due date, submitted electronically in Google Classroom. So finish them up that night, or maybe 2 nights before would be better. Okay? Certainly not at 8:25 in the library, okay? Because I can actually see when you do that. Not that it matters if it's done, but they have to be submitted by 8:30 a.m. Okay, that is the due date. Google Classroom will automatically tag them late after that. Now, if you turn yours in at 8:31, she's like, oh crap, I forgot. Okay, that's not a big deal. But if it's coming in at, 10:05, because you went and grabbed your phone and on break you finished it up and turned it in, that's late. Okay, everybody with me there? Okay. All right, and those late assignments are penalized 30%. Okay, obviously, guys, if there's something that's gone on, something that's getting in your way, come and talk to me about it. Okay, I'm a pretty understanding guy. Okay, I'm not going to be just, oh, it's late, it's 30% off. I don't care that your dog died yesterday. Like, I'm not heartless. Okay, like, I get that things happen in life, and I'm understanding of that. Just come and talk to me about it. Okay. Quizzes. Okay, so every Friday there will be a quiz. Not this Friday. Okay, every Friday there will be a review quiz covering material from the last 2 to 4, maybe as far out as 6. Like, that'll be next week. It'll be 6 classes. Okay, worth of material. Okay, so every Friday there will be a quiz. Those quiz questions will be very much like the questions you'll see on the unit exam. So they give you a really good measuring stick for where you are. We go through them as a class on Monday. Okay, so that you can see, okay, I did well here. I obviously don't understand this. That's probably something I should talk to Mr. Coder about. Come in and get some help. Okay, that's what they're for. Yes, they're an assessment tool. Yes, they count in your grades. Okay, but more importantly, they tell you where you're at, and they tell me where the class is at as a whole. Okay, if we have one quiz that goes pretty poorly, I'm going to spend a little bit of more time on that material. Okay, making sense? Now, here's the thing. There are practice quizzes in Google Classroom. Okay, so if you go into the classwork tab, okay, and you scroll down, there are practice quizzes in here. Okay, they've already been posted. You can see them all, but you don't need to look at anything other than chemistry for right now. And of course, it's not going to run. Okay, so if you go into there, what you will see is, first thing, a link to a playlist in my YouTube channel. In there are the solutions for each and every one of these quizzes. Okay, now these quizzes are much shorter than the ones you would write on a Friday. None of these should take you more than 10 minutes. Okay, so pull one of these up, answer the questions, go to click this link and find Chemistry Quiz 01, the atom, and watch the solutions. Okay, you'll know if you got it right or not. If there's something that you didn't get right, then you come and ask me for help. I would say good idea to be doing those through the week. Maybe do a couple, okay, between Monday and Thursday, do a couple, okay, so you kind of know where you're at. They're not a huge investment of time. Okay, like I say, it shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to do those. Okay, and then you'll know, okay, I'm ready for the stuff that's going to be on this Friday's quiz. Because I'll tell you through the week, this is going to be on the quiz, this is going to be on the quiz. Okay? All right, so good practice tool, okay? It's always there in Google Classroom for you to use. Okay, and lastly, I had to add this last year, use of AI, okay? So the point of this course is to have you add to and develop your own intelligence. While AI can be useful, and there'll be the odd time where we'll toy around with it, okay? It should not be used to do your learning for you. That makes it smarter, not you. And our future machine overlords don't need any more of our help before they kill us all. Okay, so please, don't use AI to do your lab reports or assignments or anything like that. Okay, using AI on assignments or labs is considered a form of plagiarism or cheating. In addition, you will not have access to electronics on your exams or quizzes or now at any point during class. So if artificial intelligence has done all your work for you up to that point, you're not going to know the material and you're going to do poorly. Seen it. Been there, done that. Okay? I don't want that for you. Okay? So please don't do that. Plus, when AI does like lab reports, it's very obvious. It has certain patterns and habits that it uses. And when I'm reading it, I know. Okay? So a lab report, guys, shouldn't be a ton of work. Okay? We go through half of it in class. Okay? So if you're paying attention, you should be able to get most of, a good start on it on the Chromebooks. Okay? And then you'll have half hour, 30 minutes tops, probably most of the time less than that, okay, of work to do at home. Okay? They're not a huge amount of time. All right. Questions there? Okay. All right. So 4 units. This is the course syllabus, all the stuff that we're going to go over. All right, so starting today, we're on Unit 1, okay, Matter and Energy and Chemical Change. We call that chemistry. Okay, so we'll be looking at structure of the atom, that should be a review, naming compounds, so molecular and ionic. Okay, you probably know most of that already, but we'll add a few things. Okay, then we'll go into properties of compounds, and we'll do a lab on that. We'll look at solubility. We'll look at chemical reactions, do a lab on chemical reactions. And then we'll go into the mole equation, which, by the way, you will need at least a scientific calculator for. Okay, so in this class, one of the things you should have as a course material is at the very least a scientific calculator. Okay? You can get ones like that at Walmart. I think they're about 13 bucks. Okay? Now, if you're in Math 10C, they'll probably want you to have some version of the Texas Instruments TI 80 something or other. Okay, you'll have to have one of those for math more than likely. But if you have math second semester and you're not ready to dole out 150 bucks, 13 bucks, do the job. Okay, as long as it's scientific and we can do scientific notation and exponents, that'll work. Okay, so that'll be Unit 1. Unit 1 we finish usually around maybe a little after Thanksgiving, so middle of October is usually when that one will finish up. Okay, then we go into cycling of matter and living systems, biology. All right, we go over the cell theory, parts of the cell, cell transport, modes of nutrition, why plants and animals are different. Then we go into multicellular organisms, transport, growth, development. Okay, mostly plants. You don't have to worry about having to dissect anything in Science 10. If that gives you anxiety, you're not going to be cutting into anything. Okay, the only thing we'll do is like cut stems and leaves off the plant so there's no blood or gore or anything like that. Okay, that unit usually takes us to middle of November. Okay, usually around Remembrance Day or so, we're done that one. And then unit 3 is physics. Okay, they call it energy flow and technical systems, but it's physics. Okay, that unit will take us right up to Christmas. Okay, sometimes we even have to go till a little bit after Christmas, but I usually try to finish it up before. Okay, in physics, we'll have graphing. Okay, that'll be a big thing. Types of energy, transfers of energy, work energy theorem, conservation of energy, lots of speed, distance, time, acceleration, lots of motion and why it happens stuff in physics. Okay, there'll be a lot of algebra in that unit. So that's probably the most math intensive unit in the course. Okay. And then the last unit, unit 4, it's pretty short, worth the same amount as all the others, but short, usually about 2 weeks. Okay. I've taught it in as few as 4 days, but I like to have 10 to do it. But it's not a lot of it carries on to the 20 level and anything, so it's a pretty short unit, but it's a nice opportunity right before the final to raise your grade, because it's a short unit, there's nothing really hard in it, okay, so you can boost your mark right before the final. Okay, so that one will be done second week of January, third week of January, something like that. Okay, here's the numbers. Okay, so your unit exams are 40% of your final grade, so that means each one is 10%. Okay. Your in-class work, so your lab reports and assignments and stuff like that are 20%. Remember, you can get feedback on those. If you're done them early, you can bring them in and talk to me and I'll go over them. Okay, so you can do really well on that 20%. Your quizzes every Friday, 20%. That means by the end of the semester, you could have 20 plus quizzes. Okay, that's quite a few, right? That means that each individual quiz isn't a huge part of your mark. Okay, so if you did poorly on 1 or 2, it's not a huge deal. Okay, it's not the end of the world. And then your final exam, end of January, is 20% of your final grade. Okay, so that's your marks distribution for the course. Okay, so what do we need for tomorrow? Notes for chemistry, worksheet package for chemistry, pens, pencils, paper. Okay. How you take notes in this class is entirely up to you. Okay. If you print them and bring them in and you're just adding jot notes in the margins, totally cool with that. If you're writing a lot of the notes that are on the board down, know that they are the same as what's in the notes package. So you do have a copy of them, but if you like to write it down, it helps you to learn, then by all means do that. Okay, that is also totally fine. If you have a Chromebook or a laptop and you're bringing that in and you're typing into the document itself, that's also fine. Whatever works for you, I'm okay with. Okay, you just can't have your phone at your desk. So you have to find some way to get those notes down. Probably printed is the best. Should you print them in color?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Other important things. Closest bathrooms are right outside the door. Girls' bathroom is there. Boys' bathroom is just to the left of it. Okay. The gender-neutral bathroom is all the way down by the gym. Okay, so if you need that one, or those two are full, or whatever, okay, go down there. If you need to go to the bathroom, just ask, that's fine. Okay, just try not to be gone too long. Okay, if you just need to take a little walk, okay, maybe your anxiety has been triggered, or you just need to go for a walk, that's fine. Just can I go? Yeah, just don't be gone too long because I'll worry about you, especially if that's why you left. Okay, so just take your walk. If you need to see Jen or PJ, I don't know, do you guys know who Jen and PJ are? Okay, Jen and PJ. Jen is our family school liaison person. She's awesome. PJ is our connections worker. Okay, they're just great people. If you're just struggling a little bit with something, mental health stuff, they're our people. Okay, and if you need to go and talk to them, if you haven't met them already, you will. Okay, they're awesome. If you need that, just say, I came from Mr. Coderre's class, and they'll send me an email so I know you're okay and I know you're with them. Okay, that is also totally fine. Okay, if you just need that little break, you need to take that walk, that's okay too. Just let me know. Okay. All right. Fire exits. Okay, speaking of anxiety, things that can trigger fires. Okay, so our primary fire exit is actually out through this wing over here. So we would walk up this hallway, turn right to where the stairs are, and go out that first door, and we always meet in the football field. And we'll be in a line up for the football field, okay, and we'll be out there. If that exit is blocked, our second fire exit is the front door. Okay, so we would go out the front door and then walk around to the football field and meet over there. Okay, if both of those are blocked, then we go out the end of the science wing this way. Okay, and we go to the football field. If all of those are blocked, I get to throw the desk through the window. Okay, it's a safety thing. I don't want broken glass to get all over you guys. It's gonna get on me, that's fine. Plus, there's just something about the idea that I would at some point get to throw a desk through the window. Okay, I don't know why that's exciting, but it is. So if that has to happen, I'm the one that does it because I don't want broken glass on anybody else. Okay, that won't happen. So those are the fire exits, but if it happens, you'll forget, and I'll just say, guys, go this way. What else? Oh, food and drink. Can I have food and drink in here, Mr. Coderre? Absolutely, yes, you can. Okay, maybe your blood sugar is dropping by the end of period 2 because you ate breakfast early and had hockey practice or whatever. Okay, yeah, you can have food and drink in here, no problem with that. Okay, just be mindful of others. If you make a mess, you clean it up. Okay, don't bring in something that's going to smell up the whole room. If you're coming in here with a 500-gram bag of Doritos and a 2-liter Pepsi every day, I'll probably give you a nutrition lecture. But yeah, you can have food and drink in here, that's fine. So obviously the phone thing, we talked about that. There'll be pouches on the wall hopefully tomorrow. Okay, everybody's phones will be in there and powered off. Okay, they do need to be powered off when they're in the pouches because on silent they may still vibrate, and if they vibrate against that metal board, they're going to make an awful noise. Okay, and be very distracting. And the whole point of them being there is to not be distracting. So they will be powered down so they can't communicate with your Bluetooth smartwatch or earbuds or any other thing. Okay. Questions from you guys? Anything I forgot? Okay, I'll give you a couple minute break here just to kind of take some deep breaths and then we'll get started on the course material.